Good morning, Clearbranch kids. It has been a great month to learn more about compassion and to talk about what that means and how we can show it and why it's important, all of these things. So first, what is compassion? Well, compassion is more than just being kind or being nice. Compassion is seeing someone's need and caring enough about them to do something about it. And so, as you may have guessed, every story this month has come from the best example that there could possibly be of compassion. It's come from a story of Jesus' life, and today is no different. Today we pick up at a point in Jesus' ministry where Jesus and the disciples have been traveling around and word has spread everywhere. Of course, we know people were constantly hearing stories about the things that Jesus was teaching and also the things that Jesus was doing, that he was healing people. And so on this day, they had been traveling through Jericho and were on their way out of Jericho, headed towards Jerusalem. There were people lining the roads. But there was one person who was very special and who was looking for Jesus maybe even more than everyone else was. This man was named Bartimaeus, and he was blind. He had never been able to see. And now that he was an adult, he couldn't work. He couldn't do anything to take care of himself. And so he would stay there by the road, this busy road that led from Jericho to Jerusalem, and beg. He would rely on the kindness of strangers in order to have money to eat and take care of himself. And so on this day, Bartimaeus was there like he normally was, but there were a lot of other people gathered there as well because they wanted to catch a glimpse of Jesus. But Bartimaeus knew that this was an extra special time for him, that this might be his only chance to do something about what was happening to him. He knew from what he had heard that Jesus could maybe heal him, and he didn't want to miss the chance to ask for Jesus to do that. And so Bartimaeus stayed where he normally did, right there by the road, but he listened very carefully. And when he heard Jesus and the disciples coming through, getting close, he started shouting out, "Lord, have mercy on me," calling out to Jesus and proclaiming him as the Son of God. People all around him were shushing him and telling him to stop, but Bartimaeus could not be stopped. He knew this was his only chance, and so he kept shouting out for Jesus to help him. And after a few minutes, Jesus and the disciples had passed on by, and Jesus called out and asked the people to bring Bartimaeus to him. And so word traveled back to Bartimaeus, and they're like, "Hey, Jesus is asking for you." And so Bartimaeus wasted no time in picking up his rug and hurrying to where Jesus was. And when he got to Jesus, Jesus asked him, "What is it that you want from me?" And Bartimaeus said, "Lord, please heal me. Please give me back my sight." And Jesus told him, "By your faith, you have been healed." And just like that, sure enough, Bartimaeus could see. As you can imagine, he was overjoyed. And he joined in with the crowd and he followed Jesus from there. Now, guys, obviously there is a huge miracle in the story where Jesus healed Bartimaeus. But I want you to think about another part of it. Jesus could heal, obviously. He could do that. He had done it before. But I want you to look for the other piece of compassion that was there. Jesus was important. He was in a hurry. He was always getting from one place to another. He had all of these people to teach. After all, it was his mission to come here and do this. He could have just kept going that day. But he knew, even though he had all these other people to save and to show love to, he could see Bartimaeus' need, and he knew he could do something about it. And so he stopped what he was doing, interrupted his day, and he showed Bartimaeus compassion. So the miracle of giving him back his sight is truly a miracle and is wonderful. But what we can do to be like Jesus is to stop what we're doing and show love and compassion to others. And that's our bottom line for this week. We can make time for others.